Join us.
Do you believe in this nation? Well, that's what the song is about.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not asking you. I'm looking at them.
Well, you're asking us, and I'm answering.
I wasn't looking
on behalf of.
I wasn't looking at your side.
Well, you're speaking to Nigerians. Yes, we believe in this country.
As I was saying, well, it's a germane question to ask. And what would you do or not do for your country? Well, our guest didn't wait to be told what he could or could not do. The news of that 44-year-old Nigerian who started and completed a charity ride from London to Lagos to support the fight against polio is nothing new to most of us. Today, he is here with us to tell us more on what inspired the bike ride across 13 countries, 12,000 plus miles. How did he do over water and all of that? But I'm not the one to do it. Please welcome Kunle Adeyanju, who is an adventurer and an entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Where is it?
Good morning. I was in Abidjan.
Okay, good. I'm sure many people will wonder, you know, anyway.
Everybody kept asking, but she's in Abidjan, she's doing fine.
Okay.
She's okay.
Who's Zainab, please?
She's a lady I met, a lady with a good heart, with a beautiful soul, and a lady I like so much. If you ask to summarize your question, to help you summarize your question, if you ask me, do I like her a lot? The answer is yes. Do I want to be with her? The answer is yes. Is she available? The answer is no.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So you met her in the course of this ride?
Well, planning for the ride, because it took me a year to build the plan. So 6 months ago when I was building the plan, I met Zainab, and we worked on the plan together.
You met her online? Or?
Yes, online. A friend introduced Zainab to me. And, you know, she's been quite helpful with the planning process. So, you know, through the course of doing the plan, building the plan, because, you know, like, while doing this plan, I couldn't just rely on what I saw, what I read on the internet. I needed people connected with, you know, situation on the ground so they can give me real assessment of what it is on the ground so I can build a smart plan. Yeah. So during this process, I needed someone to get me contact in the Francophone countries. Mm-hmm. So Zainab was introduced to me, who happens to be, you know, very, very helpful, you know, with all the Francophone countries. So, you know, a process of to and fro, back and forth discussion. I got to discover the kind of soul she had. And I started liking that, you know.
Okay. But
okay. You said she's not available. Are you available?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right.
I'm lost. What's happening here?
No, go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay. Anyway, so yes, Mr. Adeyanju, first of all, we'll talk about the trip, the journey itself, but what informed that thought in your head to ride, first of all, from London to Lagos? And then secondly, did you choose this charity option or charity objective as a motivation, or is something you were going to do anyway?
Okay, to answer the first question, the ride for me is one of my bucket list. You know, those things I call the before I die thing. You know, like by virtue of what I do, maybe the kind of training I got from places I've worked over the couple of years, you know, I build plan for a company where we say, okay, how do we do the business now? How are we going to be doing it in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? So you build a roadmap towards that. So I do the same for my life. I have a life plan. And I say to myself, what do I want to do with my life in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? So I have a couple of all those before I die things. You know, those things I want to do maybe before I'm 90 or 100, before I go back to my maker to say, yes, I have done this. So riding London to Lagos was one of those before I die things for me.
Okay, and so it was going to happen anyway?
Anyway, it was going to happen. You know, the other part is I said to myself, it's going to be selfish if I just hop on my bike and just ride. But can I use my lifestyle, my skills, my talent to benefit humanity? You know, to touch lives, to try and make the world a little bit better? The answer is yes. And I chose polio. So why did I choose polio? You know, growing up as a child, I had a friend that had polio. All right? when we were doing all those things that kids normally do, like playing football, running, jumping, swimming, he couldn't do them, not because he didn't want to, but because he was limited by polio. So usually when we do those things, the guy would just stay by the sideline. So sadly, we lost him 2 years ago, right? I wouldn't say polio killed him or he died as a result of polio, but I'm sure I know that polio limited, his potential in a big way. So I just said to myself, if there's something I can do to make sure that another child doesn't go through that, then the hell I'm going to do it.
But we've had all kinds of reports about polio being eliminated in many countries. I think Nigeria also has such a certification at some point. So how serious is the issue for you that made you say this is the one?
It is still a very, very topical issue, very important issue to address, because yes, we were certified polio-free, all right, by World Health. But the fact is the virus is still here with us, because, the fact is, just like COVID, there's polio in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. People travel, all right? People will bring the virus. It will come. And when it comes, if we are not prepared, if we don't continue to do those things that we did that got us polio certified, polio-free certified, it's going to resurge. And all the good works that everyone has done will just go down the drain. So the point is, we have to continue the immunization. We need to make sure that people don't become complacent. When you get complacent, people drop the ball. And when you drop the ball, you're open like for a soccer punch. So we have to continue that immunization we are doing. We need to sustain the drive until when, we can say all over the world that polio is totally eradicated. But before then, we are still vulnerable.
So, in parentheses, is there anything else on your bucket list that is to the service of humanity?
Yes, there is.
Oh, see?
Okay, let me just take one step back,
okay.
Just to tell you, so that it's not just that it's starting from this. There has been a couple of some before. Like in 2008 and 2009, I climbed Kilimanjaro twice. And the first time in 2008 that I did the climb, that was actually to raise funds for HIV/AIDS orphan. So I did that. 2009, I climbed Kili again. Then I've done bicycle ride from Lagos to Ghana and back. I've done skydiving, I've done bungee jumping. All those die-hard stuff, I enjoy them. So if you're asking me what next after this...
The man is a thrill seeker.
Is this why you're not married? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that one. Because
nobody wants to become a widow before that time with all this excitement you have in your life.
Let me ask you this. In the journey, as I said, we're going to talk about the journey as well.
Yeah.
But in the course of the journey, and you must have passed through rural Africa, rural communities, urban communities. You traveled through 13 countries, you said. So are there things in our lifestyles all across those countries that you've seen that could or do make us vulnerable to this polio?
To the polio? Yeah, it's still the issue of vaccine hesitancy. The fear that, maybe, a lot of negative news have gone around vaccine. And that's why even if we look at COVID, I think in Nigeria, probably some months back, some doses of the vaccines were destroyed because they got expired and people didn't take them. Yeah. People didn't take them because of the hesitancy. People are afraid. So we need to break that fear. Because if you look at polio, we have the vaccine, we have the technology. But if we don't take the vaccine, look at the negative impact that will come back. So that is actually why, this strategy that I did a two-pronged approach, which is one. The key one for me, communication. Trying to break down that fear, that issue of vaccine hesitancy. So once we can break that ceiling, and people are ready, are willing, and the level of acceptance is heightened, that's a big plus. Then the other plus is raising funds for it. And if you ask me both strategy to rate it, I'll be tempted to say 10 over 10 because I was blown out by the reception I got from people all through the paths I traveled, more especially in Africa. Like I did 12,000 kilos in total. 3,100 kilos was from London to Algeciras. That's the boundary of Europe. Then when I crossed the Mediterranean into Tangier in Morocco, I did about 9,000 from Tangier down to Lagos. The 9,000 kilos took me not just through the cities or the town, but through, the villages, the hamlets, the lonely, isolated places. And I met people, and I will be surprised that I got to places, people I don't expect them to know about me. They'll flag me down. Hey, Kunle, please take a picture with us. Please, let's take a picture. Oh, please talk to us about polio. Sometimes I get flagged down like 50 times a day, and I'm saying, if I continue this way, I won't get to my rest point.
Yeah.
But it's what I signed up that I was going to do, so I just have to accommodate everybody. So for me, it's been really, really mind-blowing. It's been a positive experience, discovery of the true African story. For me, a lot of people ask me that, what is your takeout from this? What is that big thing that you took out from this adventure? And I said, the real thing that I discovered was the true African story. Before going on this trip, I read every available information I could get on all the countries. The CIA fact book, the SIS, all of them. I read everything available. And I can tell you, all of them painted the story of either red or amber for all the African countries. Red is amber is exercise great caution. Red, don't go, dangerous.
Yes.
The only country that had green was Morocco, and Morocco was green up to Agadir. From Agadir to Laayoune was amber. Then from Laayoune down to the Moroccan border was red. So, but when I got there, I had no issue of security threats.
What about in places like Mali? Did you go through Former Upper Volta? Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. Okay, actually, that was an interesting discovery for me. Mali was red, but I had no choice how to cross from Senegal into Côte d'Ivoire. So I had to go through Mali. So I included Mali on my trip, but I knocked off Burkina Faso completely because it was deep red, based on what I read.
Not just red, deep red.
But when I left Mali, it was late before I could clear the border because of the ECOWAS blockade. Right. So when I was going at about 7:30 p.m. in the night, okay, it was dark, deep, this dark darkness, and visibility was really bad. So a truck veered into my lane. So he was avoiding a pothole. I trying to avoid impacting the truck. I swerved away. Then I ran into a ditch. Then I lost my rear wheel. That was about 9 p.m. in the night. Ooh. So I ran to a village. I saw, actually, there was a game reserve, a park. And the park, there were lions. I got the briefing from the park rangers and all that. There were lions, there are hyenas, there are cheetahs there. And, the first thing kicks in your survival instinct. Say, okay, whatever it is, first, before you even think, you just act. You don't even have time to think. And I just put height between myself and any animal that want to come. So I was running, looking for a tree to climb. As I was climbing that tree, then I saw a ray of light, far ahead, like 400 meters away. So I jumped down, then I sprinted to the village. Then I met these people. It was a this hamlet, sorry, not a village. As I was running, because the pace I was going was quite, high. And they just saw somebody running like that, so they too just took off.
They don't know what's pursuing you.
So they took off. So when they now look back, then I saw it was only me. I was saying, hey. So, they came back a bit angry at first that I started all of them. So when they saw the way I was dressed, everything, and the challenge, I don't speak French, and I couldn't speak the local dialect. And so I was trying to talk, they saw the way I was panting. Remember, these are people they classified as the red zone. Unfriendly, dangerous, and all that. The women in that village came out. I was trying to talk. They just came, held me. They said, keep quiet, don't talk. They gave me a chair to sit down. They brought water for me that I should drink water. They gave me water to wash my face. And they waited. They said, don't talk. After like 3 minutes, when my breathing came back to normal, they now started asking me what happened. So they had a bike in that village. I used that to explain to them what happened. And they said to me that we should go. So the men there, They carried their clubs, their cutlasses. They followed me that sugar. I was there asking, why are you, like with sign language, why are you carrying all this? So they too were telling me that, what if, like, the lion comes or something like that.
Oh, my God.
So we got there. They helped me
Such excitement.
They helped me to recover the bike. We walked 400 meters to where the incident happened. They recovered my bike for me. We pushed, on the way I got network signal. So I called my interpreter that I left like 30 kilometers away. He just helped me, interpretation through with the border communication. So I left him 30 kilometers away. So I told the guy to pick a vehicle and come rescue me from that village. It took the guy 3 hours to come back to me, to come pick me up. So it was like 12. So look at these people they call the red zone, the dangerous people, the people you don't want to have anything to do with. Just move, don't even go there. These are people who gave me water, who comforted me. They stood there with me. They didn't make me feel alone. And they stayed till 12 until my interpreter came with the vehicle. I left the bike with them. The following morning, I went to Kai, which was 60 kilometers away from there. The following morning, we took a truck to come and recover the bike because the wheel couldn't fix, it was cracked. So we recovered the bike with a truck, and I tell you, I left everything on my bike the way it was. And when I came back, including my laptops, even the Garmin navigational system that I had there.
Everything was there.
When I came back that morning around 11, everything was the way I left it. Tell me, that is general hospitality, that is honesty of the African people. And that's what I discovered.
That's green for you all the way.
Completely green. And that's what I discovered all through. Even the Burkina Faso that Auntie was asking, I didn't want to go into Burkina Faso. I only went into Burkina Faso because I was denied entry at Côte d'Ivoire. So when they denied me entry...
That's where you had to turn back at some point.
Yes, I had to turn back 400 kilos to go. I was at Tangrila border. That's the Côte d'Ivoirian border. So when they denied me entry, I had to turn back 400 kilos, and I went to Sikasso border, which is the one with Burkina Faso. Now, I told the riders, they communicated with the riders that I was coming. So I was going to be staying in Bobo Dioulasso, which was 250 kilos from the border where I was. So we decided to meet halfway. Because I set out earlier, I covered 150 kilos before they met me. So they met me about 100K.
But you have a Nigerian passport?
I have dual nationalities.
Nigeria
and Irish.
So why were you not allowed into Côte d'Ivoire?
Okay, from Mali, I was denied entry because of the ECOWAS blockade on Mali. So because of the ECOWAS blockade, which forbid anyone from going into Mali or coming out of Mali. So if I had to go into Mali, I need to get a laissez-passer to go in.
Laissez-passer.
So I got one from the Nigerian ambassador. When I presented it at the Côte d'Ivoirian border, they refused. And I agree with them because they are saying that Côte d'Ivoire is a sovereign nation. Nigeria cannot tell them who to accept or who not to accept into their country. That if I was going to go into Côte d'Ivoire, it is the Côte d'Ivoirian ambassador that should issue me a laissez-passer, not the Nigerian ambassador. So because I didn't want to just sit down in the border, and getting, pissed off by the whole thing, I just said, okay, I called the Nigerian ambassador that I'll be going to Burkina Faso. And it was on a Sunday, so they couldn't get the Côte d'Ivoirian ambassador. But so we now agreed that, okay, let me go into Burkina Faso, that by Monday morning, they will get the Côte d'Ivoirian ambassador to issue me a laissez-passer, so that from Burkina Faso, I cannot ingress into Côte d'Ivoire, and that's exactly what happened.
So this is really very interesting. Too many questions to ask because time has
Quickly, let me ask, how much have you been able to raise for polio?
The truth is, I don't know. I don't know because I don't have access to the accounts.
Okay.
And I actually want it that way. All the donation, because for me, it's giving back. All the donation goes into Rotary Foundation accounts. And people who will have given me what we've raised so far are actually in Houston for the Rotary Convention. So when they come back next week, they will tell me, they will show me the bank statement, we'll announce what we've raised to Nigeria, but I don't want to just, I'm just doing it to give back.
Okay. And how much did this trip cost you?
I'm going to say it's a lot of money. I've not put a tag on everything, but if I give you just a little summary, the bike itself was about £7,000. Insurance on the bike was £2,800. Accessories on the bike, another £2,000. So that's about £11,000 or £12,000.
Yes.
So now factor my accommodation, maybe $70 every night. my fuel, the toll fare, my gears, even my upkeep. So it's quite a lot.
Interesting. As I said, too many questions to ask you, but, maybe we're just going to have to leave it at that. But so for you, for Kunle Adeyanju, what's next? What's the next thrill in the bucket list?
The next thing is I'm going to be riding from Lagos to Israel. Then from Israel, actually just passing through Israel anyway. From Israel, I'm going to Tibet. Riding to Tibet. Then I want to do the Tibetan plane. Then from there, I'll be heading to Everest Base Camp. Then I'll drop the bike and try to attempt Everest.
Any purpose for this?
I'm going to tie it to...
Just the thrill? The
thrill, but I'm going to tie it to a humanitarian cause also.
Okay.
But for me, the thrill.
Okay. I was going to ask you about Zainab again. I think I'm just going to have to leave it there, because when you say she's not available, the question will be why? But don't answer that. If you don't answer that question. But why anyway? Don't answer that question.
Why?
She's not available.
Okay. Why she don't answer. Kunle Adeyanju, an adventurer and an entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Otherwise known as Lionheart.
Otherwise known as Lionheart. An eagle. Is there an eaglet somewhere?
No, only eagle.
Only eagle. Okay. I hope you have been able to repair eagle's leg.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of this program this morning, and we can only wish you all the best. We'll be here to give you all the support you need.
Thank you.
To ensure that this gets done. The word goes out that we should leave no one behind.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, what's next after now? Some shouting. More on that after now. Stay with us.